Hey there, we're taking a look at Assassin's Creed 2 running on the i5-1135G7. This is actually currently running at 1080p with the highest settings possible. And we are getting some fantastic frame rates. I actually had a blast playing this. This is one of my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed games. It is a classic, and it was just great to be able to just jump in here and have such a great experience playing this. I mean, I remember playing this back in like 2011 or something. That was when I got like my first like actual computer that wasn't just like a compact PC that someone slapped in a low-end graphics card in. It was like an actual like computer. It was an i7 2600 with like a Radeon HD 6950 in Crossfire. And that's how I was playing this game, because this was actually one of the first games that I bought on Steam. It was like this. It was Dead Space 1 and 2, and it was like Far Cry, I think Far Cry 2. It was something like that. Those were like the first games that I ever bought on Steam, and it was like the greatest experience. And it's crazy to think that now like you could just pick up a $400 laptop and like play this game at like the highest settings possible and get very, very consistent frame rates. It's kind of crazy to me. It's just like, it really just shows what technological progress has happened. And I mean, to be fair, there was a lot of integrated graphics stagnation throughout that time period. I mean, AMD had their APUs and their GPUs in there were decent enough to like run games at like not even really 720p, but like lower than that. But resolutions like that were still at least somewhat still common. You could like find a lot of office PCs that were still on that 4:3 aspect ratio. So if you paired that with like an APU, you could honestly get some pretty decent gaming performance. The problem there was just that their CPUs were actually just trash. So anything like any APU that you bought, you were getting a CPU that honestly belonged in maybe a blender, maybe a toaster, and that's about it. So it was just it was definitely rough times. And like the fact that a laptop now that is like so cheap, it's so low power, so like efficient, can just play this full-on game that like we needed to have an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 or like a full-on gaming PC to actually play. And I mean, if you played this on the Xbox or on the PlayStation 3, you are getting a significantly better experience playing this on this laptop. And that's kind of just like crazy to me. And I mean, this is just what happens with time and technology. But it's funny to see, because I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 is still a very playable game. It still holds up. You know, you can jump into there and have a blast playing it. And it all has to do with the fact that, you know, the game itself was just well made. A good game is just going to last you forever. So I'm just happy to see that it just performs so well on here. I mean, this is definitely a win, and I'm very curious to see what the rest of the series plays like, because we know Origins does not, you know? So let's see how the rest of it goes.